Okay, in this video, you are here to help me out of my confusion. In this video, I'm going to show you the Speaker of the Legislature in Limpopo going through some weird luxury car purchase setup something. Okay, and so if you stay with me until the end, where I give you my biblical reaction, for the rest of this week, everyone you meet, you're going to ask them, do you speak Pedi? Do you speak Tonga? Do you speak Venda? And if they say yes, they probably from Limpopo have links. Then you're going to send them the link of this video and just say, please watch this, and then tell me what just happened. And hopefully we can open one eye, 1,000 eyes, 10,000 eyes in Limpopo, because we are not stoppable. We are going to have a prosperous country. So you ready? All right. Press like. Let's hear what's going on. This is a week before I record this video. Pay attention.
Limpopo Legislature Speaker Dr. Makoma Makhurupetje has reportedly flouted Treasury guidelines with the procurement of 2 luxury German cars. City Press is reporting that she spent over 6 million rand on the vehicles, despite a 1.2 million rand limit that was prescribed by Treasury. The Speaker joins me now for a conversation on this. Madam Speaker, good evening to you, and thank you very much for your time. Over 6 million rand of taxpayers' monies spent on luxury vehicles. At least that's the claim by City Press newspaper. What's your response to that article?
My response is the report is malicious, it's misleading, and it's very disturbing. It's very disturbing because since I've been the Speaker, the journalist, I'm not sure what is it that is looking on me as a person, because all the time he's trying very hard to attack me, my personal person and my credibility. I don't understand why. And I'm happy now that the Secretary of the Legislature has written a formal letter to the editor. Because when he raised the questions, the administration responded to his questions. And he could not even prove what he's saying, because it's a lie. The Speaker has never demanded any second car. Why should I demand a second car? Because in the first place, I arrived in the legislature. There was an X5 that was used by the former Speaker. I was using it. That car, as I speak, it's sitting at 188 mileage. And that car is still there. I'm still using it as a reliever, as and when there is no any other vehicle. The car that they're talking about, I've never seen it myself personally.
Whoa.
But when I was told that there was a car that was bought, I inquired what was the issue. And I discovered that the issue was the legislature has got a responsibility. We've got 64 members of the legislature. And as the 54 members of the legislature, some have got different portfolios. I'm the Speaker. There's chair of chairs, there's deputy chair of chairs, there's other portfolios in terms of the chairpersons of committee. They're traveling to different places all the time. So they normally have pool cars, including the 10-seaters that they normally use as and when they do the oversight job. So administration just said to me they were working on making sure that they are capacitating their fleet unit to make sure that they're able to transport members. That the car was for the Speaker, it's a shock to me. I'm still shocked. And that we have spent 6.5 million, it's a lie. I don't think the journalists can prove that we spent that 6.5 million.
All right. So when you say that as far as you, the Speaker, are concerned, there is no car that has been procured on your behalf, are you aware of any car that has been bought for your deputy?
There is no new car for the deputy. When we arrived, Toli, we arrived there in June. We found that because both the car that was used by the Speaker has reached the limit of 150,000. That is the minimum mileage that it's within the motor plan.
Okay.
Both the deputy speaker's car that was there had an accident just a week before there was an official opening. So when we arrived, they told us that there was already a process that anyway, this car were outside the motor plan from immediately in April, and they've budgeted to buy new cars for the speaker. But they delayed the procurement because they wanted to check whether whoever comes, they must be able to consult. And that I can tell you that both of us, myself and the deputy speaker, we were consulted. That's why the first vehicles were bought. And when the first vehicles were bought, and then the unfortunately there was a time when the car, within 3 months, it has been having serious mechanical problems. And I had to call the fleet manager and the staff to say, why is this car less than 3 months having these mechanical problems that even after service, they still have brakes problem? What are the issues? I need the report. And I said to them, my understanding, if I buy a car myself, and that car within 3 months has got technical problems, you must return it back and get a new one. Or the service provider must be able to deal with the mechanical problems. That is the issue I've raised. But that there was an issue that I gave an instruction to buy a new car. It's a lie. And even the deputy speaker doesn't have a new car. But the other thing is, I just want to correct that. You'll remember that as legislatures, we're not governed by the PFMA. We're governed by the Financial Management of Parliament and Provincial Legislatures Act of 2009. So the communications unit responded to the question that these questions that you are alleging that the speaker has spent 6 million, it's a lie. It's not there.
How much?
All right, Speaker. So what you are saying, and I'm merely taking now from your responses. At first, you said that there was no car procured for you. But then, in your latter response, you are saying when the first vehicles were bought. So you did receive a new car, but that's the same car that has experienced mechanical problems. Am I correct on that?
Which I'm still using it, yeah.
Okay.
Today, I went to an official event, I was using it.
Okay, all right. So let's follow that theme then. How much was this car purchased for, the one that has mechanical problems?
Yeah.
When I get the report, because we are told that the legislature's administration, they buy the cars. The cars that they bought for the speaker, it was 1.4 million. And because she's using the X5, and the Mercedes-Benz cost 1.5 million.
So 2 cars at 1.4 million, 1.5 million. The 1.2 million limit that's prescribed by Treasury, that has been exceeded, has it not?
That it's an issue that I can't talk much about it because you are raising it. I'll go and investigate whether they went beyond the limit. But sitting where I'm sitting, there was no issue around that, because as I'm saying that we're not governed by the PFMA, we're governed by the Financial Management Parliament and Provincial Legislature Act. It's something that I'll be able to investigate.
Are there now, because as I say again, I'm taking from your responses, you say first vehicles bought. Were there any set of second vehicles that were bought?
From the administration, when I inquired, when this matters was raised, yes, they told me that there was a car that was bought. But the car that was bought, it was because they had their own challenges in terms of taking other members, as and when members are supposed to be traveling. But then we engaged them in order to say, why do they allege it's a speaker's vehicle? Because that is not a speaker's vehicle. And we need to understand that if it indeed that car was bought for members, or that car was bought as a pool car in the legislature, but there was no instruction or any other thing that suggests that car was bought to be utilized by the speaker. And that's why I'm saying it's a lie, because even when you count the monies I've spoken to you, is far below the 6.5 million that has been alleged.
So at what cost is this car, the one that you say you are going to inquire about? At what cost is it? And do you know what make car it is?
I don't know. I've never seen it. It's now that I've written to the Secretary of the Legislature that he must be able to give me the full report and why was suggested that this car was bought for the Speaker. So that is what I'm waiting for the report. And I can assure you that if there is anything, because in the legislature, maybe something that I need to indicate to you. The reason why there are some of the things that are always in the papers which are lies is because there are people who are really peddling lies. Because as we speak, when we arrived there, we found that there are hawks, that there was a case that was opened somewhere in 2003, January. That case was abandoned. And when we came in, the hawks wanted to proceed. And I gave them the go-ahead to proceed. And secondly, we're in a process of forensic audit because there were some things that did not go right. The CFO had to run away. We don't know why he resigned immediately. We had someone in the finance office as well who has been suspended. You have got someone in the IT section that was dealing with some contracts of Vodacom and others who have been sick since January. So those kind of forensic investigations that are done, obviously there will be officials that will feel maybe in the process they might found wanting. And I can tell you, we are going to follow each and everything, even on this matter of the car. If the secretary has misled me, I'm going to take action against him because I cannot accept to be misled.
So when you say you're going to take action against the secretary, what kind of action can be expected by members of the public?
I can't preempt because I'm still waiting for his report. But I want him to explain to me why there was this assumption or this perception that this car has been bought for the speakership, because that was misleading on its own.
All right, as we end the conversation, Speaker, South Africans sitting at home and are listening to this, on the one hand, if indeed what you are telling us is correct, I suppose they will say, but why would a journalist go out of his way to rubbish the name of the Speaker in this way? But let me ask you this question. The amounts that you have mentioned, so the one car, it cost the state 1.4 million. The other car, which belongs to the Deputy Speaker, it cost taxpayers 1.5 million. Could you have gone slightly lower in terms of your price range, given the economic times that we live in? People want to see, particularly government employees, living what you tell the public every day, and that is that we want for government to save money so that whatever little is there, it is channeled towards service delivery.
Ollie, I tell you that, like, when I arrived, we had little we could do with the Deputy Speaker because we found the processes underway. And you remember sometimes there is this thin line as and when you are trying to follow up because administration will say, but you are interfering. And if we found the procurement process in the already halfway, sometimes it was very difficult to say why this and not this. And I fully agree with you that I realized that even when we were doing the official opening, we did something that we had to go to Jack Porter's hall. There were chairs that were hired. Then we said, no, we can't. With these times, when things are not good, that's why this year you have seen we've gone to the legislature to cut costs. And obviously, as I'm saying that, if there was any other car that we bought, that's why I want this report, because it says now, the administration now are calling us to do more oversight to them, because it looks like as and when we leave them to do their work, while they think we're interfering, but we can't allow them to spend exorbitant amounts of money when we can pay less. I fully agree with you that it says now, it rings a bell that we must be able to say, let's start working closer to the administration to guard against the public purse, because it can't be when there is no money. Everybody wants to spend this exorbitant fund. But unfortunately, when we arrive, me and the Deputy Speaker, there were things that were already in the pipeline and we couldn't interfere because it was like, but we've already done procurement. So why? The only thing we're waiting for was delivery. Why do you want to interfere in that regard? But this, it's a sign. We must do more oversight. We must spend less and be able to ensure that we deliver more service. I fully agree with you on that.
Speaker, as we end the conversation, can I hold you to at least one commitment here today? And that is that you come back to us as soon as you've had the conversation with the Secretary as regards the car that appears to exist, but you have no knowledge of at the moment. We'll continue the conversation as soon as that happens. When do you think that might be?
Give me 14 days at least.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Give me 14 days and I can be able to come back to you to say, yes, I've investigated. Yes, there was a car.
Yes.
This is how much it was bought for. And this is where I think they add. And as a speaker, as the executive authority, that is where I think I needed to take an action. So I think I'll be able to come back to the public and account on it because it's my responsibility. I can't make executive to account to the legislature when I can't account myself.
Dr. Makoma Makhurupetje.
All right, guys. So in 14 days, she will be back. So someone lied about the speaker and said cars were bought for her and the deputy for 6 million. And it's parked downstairs. And instead of just walking downstairs to see these cars, she got someone to do an investigation and get a report. And right now she doesn't even know what kind of car it is. And why are all these people doing this? They are doing this because we need to keep an eye on them. And now we are going to start. Awesome. All right. Now, since you know nothing about this, you don't know what the car is. You don't know how much it was bought for. You just know it's not 6 million. You don't know why the journalist is lying about you. When are you going to find out and come back to me? 14 days. I don't know why. I really, really don't know why. Why do people insist on telling stories about the speaker? Why do they insist on making up false stories about the speaker? I mean, you know, I remember in 2017, the speaker said it's all about politics because officials paid 116 million for land worth 8 million. And there is Makhurupetje, and they accused of costing the provincial government 108 million in fruitless and wasteful expenditure, and that they were put under pressure to conclude the transaction by their political boss at that time, Makhurupetje. She was MEC then. And Makhurupetje had threatened to take action against the Chief Director of Local Government, Rogers Munama, and Deputy General of Corporate Services, Gregory Makoko, and instructed them to explain why they should not suffer consequences for the inflated payment for the land that they bought. But the duo hit back earlier this month in a letter through their lawyers, saying that they acted under Makhurupetje's instruction and guidance. And she often took it personally when the transaction was not moving as speedily as she preferred. So when they bought that land worth 8 million for 108 million rands, she said, it's not me. And they, through their letter, said, no, it is you. Okay, but let's come back to now. Remember, she said she'd come back in 14 days and explain what happened? Well, you don't have to wait that long, because 3 hours ago, City Press, controversial Limpopo speaker's 4 million luxury car disappeared, and now it's up for sale. You can't make this stuff up. There's the car. Since she didn't know what the car was, at least she can see it on the paper. Look at this. The 4 million Mercedes-Benz GLC Coupé, which was controversially acquired by the Limpopo Legislature 3 weeks ago for the Speaker, went missing for several days. City Press revealed that other time that the legislature had spent 6 million on 2 expensive cars for Speaker and Deputy. Now, heads have now claimed to fall of 2 officials and 3 others who were served letters of intent to suspend them as finger-pointing ensued over who had authorized the purchase of the cars. City Press can reveal that financial manager Norman Makumani was placed on precautionary suspension on Wednesday, while Makado was removed from his position as the manager in Makhurupeje's office. So Makado wrote the memorandum of purchase allegedly on the instructions of the secretary. So the secretary of legislature told this guy to buy, but human resources manager, section manager, and head of the other one were all served with a letter saying, I'm going to fire you guys. So they had to answer the letter and say, why should you not be suspended? In the week full of drama, following the expose that 2 cars had been bought for the Speaker in fewer than several months, insiders said the car in question disappeared from the legislature building, from the parking lot. But the car was not... the car... The car left the legislature, but it was not signed out the security gate, even though it's guarded by security and the SAPS. But the police couldn't explain how, how this car had disappeared from the parking. So this forced Margaret to call a staff meeting to talk about this car that she had not seen at the time of the interview, said in 2 weeks I'll have a report and investigation and tell you what's going on. And the car the car disappeared without security knowing where the car has gone. City Press can reveal that on Thursday, the car suddenly miraculously showed up at the Mercurius Mercedes-Benz in Polokwane. Sources said the dealership was prepared to buy the car from the legislature for only 1.4. Mind you, the car cost the legislature close to 4 million and the dealership is buying it for less than half. The day before, another meeting was held with the officials, all departments, with Makhurupetje, the Speaker, and Make. Sources said the Speaker and Secretary convened the meeting to discuss why they bought this weird car, which resulted in the manager of the office being fired. The second meeting on Wednesday was so highly charged, with Makhurupetje and Make accusing staff of buying the car without their knowledge. However, Mashikwane and Makado produced proof of the signed memorandum from the Speaker's office requesting them to buy the car. So, after he produced the proof that but your office signed for us to buy the car, Makhurupetje changed and went, yeah, you, Makado, let's talk about you. However, the manager defended himself by also producing So the only person who's not producing proof is the Speaker of the Limpopo Legislature so far. So the car, she can't come back to Newsroom Africa to Kolim Gambi and tell him what happened because the car disappeared. And all the people who apparently she's blaming are all apparently bringing proof of her office asking for the purchase of the car. I don't know if Makhurupetje has done anything wrong. I'm not saying anything about the Speaker. I'm just saying I'm really confused and I'm asking you to please help me. Please help me in the comments below. to understand what should happen here. So my biblical reaction, here's what it is. The issue of money with government, whom we must trust with everything else, is this. If you go to this video here, you'll see who you could possibly trust. And you can go to the Auditor General's report, find out who has clean audits, and next time you vote, only check from people who have had clean audits. Otherwise, you'll vote for anger, you'll vote for envy, you'll vote for victimhood, and wonder why your children will be struggling, your grandchildren will be struggling, and you won't be able to explain that, no, my grandchild, I just kept thinking like a victim. I just kept thinking with anger and never voted for your future. Why must you check how people handle money? Because he who is faithful in what is least is faithful also in much. And he who is unjust is what is least is also unjust in much. Therefore, if you've not been faithful with money, who will commit to you their children? Who will commit to you their lives to govern? So, stop voting for people who can't even have clean audits. Before you decide which party you can vote for, because you're going to entrust them with your life, your children, your grandchildren, check who has clean audits. No man can serve two masters. Either he'll love the one or hate the other, respect the other and disrespect the other. You cannot serve God and Karl Marx. Vote for your future. Stop voting from your past. Look for who is faithful with money and start considering your voting from then. Cling, cling. If you're subscribed, I'll see your comment below. But don't just subscribe, ring the bell so you catch the next video. And let's make history together. Cheers.